Good day, young listeners. My name is Kayt Peck, and I get to be your story reader today. And I'm reading a very, very special book. It was written by a woman who comes from the Las Vegas area, Laura Salazar, and it's illustrated by a Las Vegas artist, Meredith Britt. And here's the book. It's Graciela Perdida or Graciela Gets Lost. And welcome to the story. Every summer, Graciela would spend time with her grandma at the ranch. It was her favorite place in the world. She had the best times there. Tia Antonia, Tio Tomas, and Tio Chaleo made things fun. Grandma lived in a small wooden house with a covered portal. They had apple and apricot trees in the yard and raised cabras, borregos, y gallinas. Tio Antonia's house was gleaming white with a tin roof. Graciela would spend all her time outside helping Grandma, Analia, and El Jardín. She would help bring water from the El Ojito. Tio Tomas knew every rock, tree, and hill, and he was in charge of the animals. If Graciela could, she would stay here all year. One day, Graciela decided to go for a walk. "Ahorita vengo," she shouted. The screen door of the portal slammed shut. Graciela grabbed an apple and ran down the road toward El Ojito, towards the spring. "A dónde vas, Graciela?" Tia shouted. "Where are you going, Graciela?" "Voy con Tio Tomas," Graciela yelled back. Tio Tomas had disappeared a few minutes earlier. He was going to check on the animals. Graciela loved to go with her Tio Tomas. He always had the best stories to tell. He was funny and had an answer to every question she could imagine. Some she had a hard time believing. Graciela continued down the road, but she did not see Tio anywhere. Usually he would stop at the El Ojito at the spring to fill his cantina, but he wasn't there. Graciela kept going on the usual path. The animals had worn paths all through here, and she could not get lost. As she walked along, she stopped to pick pistolitas, little red flowers that made a popping sound when you squeezed the bulb. She had been walking for a while and should have already caught up with Tio Tomas. He's not that fast. Graciela stopped under a piño to pop pistolitas and eat her apple. You could smell piñon trees for miles. When she was done, she realized that while picking pistolitas, she wandered off the path and now was not sure which direction to go. She sat down and tried to recall her footsteps. She couldn't be lost. She, like Tio Tomas, knew every tree and rock out here. Or did she? Tio Tomas had shown her every pine-covered inch of the ranch. Un cuento, a story, accompanied every inch. Graciela started to cry. Lagrimas ran down her cheeks, falling on the rock she was sitting on. Pine needles and pine cones in every direction. Each one looked the same. She could not remember one cuento, one story, that Tio Tomas had shared with her now. But she did remember St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, and right now she was feeling like a lost cause. St. Jude, San Judas, Apostolo de Cristo, la Iglesia, te honra y te ora universalmente como patrón de casos difíciles y desesperados. Holy Apostle, St. Jude of Thaddeus, friend of Jesus, I place myself in your care at this difficult time. Help me know that I need not face my troubles alone. How did the rest of the prayer go? Graciela was frustrated, but she thought, I'll just continue to pray on St. Jude. San Judas, ayúdame, por favor. St. Jude, help me, please. In that moment, she heard something. Era un ardilla. It was a squirrel. Graciela, no llores, dijo la ardilla. Graciela dried her tears. Estoy perdida. I'm lost. I was going to follow Tio, but he was too fast, and now I'm lost. Niña, no llores. Tú conoces todas las partes de este rancho, the ardilla told her. Tú sabes cómo volver a la casa, ten fe. You know the way to go. Have faith. Graciela was not convinced, and her tears came again. Yo te ayudo, he told her. I'll climb this tree as high as I can. Then I can see which direction the house is. When I climb down, I'll tell you which way to go. Mil gracias, Ardilla, Graciela replied. So La Ardilla climbed the tree, and Graciela stretched her eyes as far as she could, shielding her eyes from El Sol. After a few minutes, she heard him climbing down. A través por allí, he said. Go through there. Graciela started to run in the direction La Ardilla had pointed. Gracias, she yelled back to him. She looked up to the heavens, thinking, Gracias, St. Judas. Graciela ran and ran for a long time, but still she never made it to the path. Am I still going in the right direction? She said aloud. El Sol, the sun, started to dip in the sky. Graciela knew she had to go home soon or find Tio Tomas. She stopped to rest and look around. Did anything here look familiar? There was a tree that had fallen. It didn't look like any fallen tree she'd ever seen. She didn't remember any stories of falling trees. Tio Tomas told great tree stories. She walked over to where it was and sat on a branch. She started to get scared, and the tears rolled down her cheeks again. She wept, looked up, and pleaded, San Judas, por favor, ayúdame, St. Jude, please help me. Suddenly she heard a crunching sound, followed by a weak meh. The goats, she thought, a sure way home. But it wasn't a goat, rather a lamb. Cordero, ¿qué pasa? ¿Dónde están los otros? ¿No me digas que tú también estás perdido? She says, Lamb, what's going on? Where are the others? Don't tell me that you're lost too. El Cordero responde, Sí, me perdí, me puedes ayudar. Graciela sighed and said, Pobre Cordero, yo también estoy perdida. But let's stay together. We're both lost. Let's stay together. Mil gracias por Graciela. The very excited Cordero followed Graciela over rocks and fallen branches. At least now neither one was alone. After what seemed like a long time, she stopped to rest. Graciela rubbed her eyes, embarrassed that the lamb would see her cry. Again, she silently lifted up a prayer. St. Jude, please help me find my way. Suddenly she heard a cooing sound. Un paloma, a dove. ¿Qué pasa, niña? ¿Qué estás haciendo aquí? Asked la paloma. I was trying to follow Tio Tomas, but he was too fast and I got lost looking for him. Ardilla tried to help me, and then I found Este Cordero. He was lost too. Palomito, I'm tired and hungry and scared. I just want to go home. Niña Graciela, I know your family well, but you do not sound very hopeful now. Ten fe, have faith. I have not seen your Tio Tomas today, but I think I can help you find your way home. La Paloma said to her. Her voice was kind and reassuring, and even El Cordero seemed at ease. ¿De verdad? Graciela asked, immediately wiping the tears welling in her eyes. Sí, de verdad. Mira, volar al cielo y desde allí puedo ver todo el rancho. Y te diré en qué dirección ir para llegar a casa. The dove is going to fly high. She can see everything and will tell her which direction to go. Ay, mil gracias, Palomito, Graciela replied. La Paloma flew away. Higher and higher she climbed. Graciela again shielded her eyes from the now setting sun. Graciela, por ahí, y cuando llegues a el cerco, síguelo a la derecha y allí encontrarás el camino, dijo la Paloma. Graciela, go through there. When you arrive at the fence, follow it to the right, and you will encounter a road, said the dove. El Cordero salutó de alegría, gritando, Gracias, Paloma. Graciela and El Cordero ran and ran. When they reached the fence line, they ran to the right. Finally, they came to the road and the roofs of the houses. El humo, smoke, was rising from El Chiflón, the chimney. Today, la Tia Antonia would be baking in la estufa de leña, baking in the wood stove. They didn't stop running until they reached the gate. Grandma, tía, tío, yo volví y encontrar este cordero perdido también. Everyone came out, Grandma wiping her hands on her delantal. She fell to her knees to hug her. El Cordero came in closer for the safety of Grandma's strong arms. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde te fuiste? What happened? Where did you go? Salir al buscar al tío Tomás y me perdí, pero me ayudó una día y llego encontré este cordero perdido también. Y luego una palomerita blanca nos ayudó. Y llegó. Graciela quería contar su historia. I went to follow Uncle Thomas and got lost, but a squirrel helped me. And I found a lost lamb. And then a white dove helped us. And I'm here. Graciela gave the history of her adventure. Bueno, gracias a Dios que llegaste antes de que se oscureciera. Tomás, por favor, lleva el cordero. Antonia, un tortilla con mantequilla para Graciela, por favor, Grandma said. Tia Antonio returned with the tortilla and said, vamos a cenar y puedes contar todo lo que pasó, especialmente de la palomito. ¿Sabías que tu tío Xayello también tuvo aventuras con un palomito blanco? Let's go inside and you can tell us all of what happened, especially about the dove. Did you know your Uncle Chaleo has also had adventures with a white dove? And that's the end.